Hi, I'm Bob. Section 9.4 is about the policies that shift market supply and demand curves. All government actions affect the competitive market equilibrium in one of two ways: to shift the demand or supply curve, or to create a wedge between price and marginal cost. We will look into the problems in this section today. I used the textbook Microeconomics Theory and Applications with Calculus, the 5th edition by Professor Jeffrey Perloff. Here's exercise 4.1. The government imposes a restriction on firms that shifts the supply curve in figure 9.3 so that it intersects the demand curve at E2. Discuss the effects on consumer surplus, producer surplus, welfare, and deadweight loss. Suppose the government restriction shifts the supply curve to the left from S1 to S2. The market equilibrium moves from E1 to E2. The consumer surplus decreases by the area of B plus C plus D. The welfare, measured by the sum of consumer surplus and producer surplus, decreases by the area of C plus D plus F plus G, compared to the welfare before the restriction. The producer surplus changes by the area of B minus F minus G. It is uncertain whether it increases or decreases. Notice that this case is different from figure 9.3 in the textbook. The supply curve shifts to the left in this exercise, whereas the supply curve in figure 9.3 in the textbook does not shift. Let's solve exercise 4.2. The government forces firms to provide more output at each price so that the new supply curve in the figure in solved problem 9.2 intersects the demand curve at E2. Discuss the effects on consumer surplus, producer surplus, welfare, and deadweight loss. Suppose the government intervention shifts the supply curve to the right from S1 to S2. The market equilibrium moves from E1 to E2. I list the consumer surplus, producer surplus, and welfare in the table. The consumer surplus and the social welfare increase, and the direction of the change in producer surplus is uncertain. This is the case where the supply curve shifts to the right. That is, the firm's marginal cost reduces. If the question means the government forces the firms to produce more, but the firm's marginal cost is unchanged, then the market supply curve is unchanged, but the quantity supplied is more than the competitive level. The supply curve does not shift. In this situation, only the consumer surplus increases, but the producer surplus and the social welfare decrease. The deadweight loss to society is the area of D. Let's answer exercise 4.3. The Park Service wants to restrict the number of visitors to Yellowstone National Park to Q star, which is fewer than the current volume. It considers two policies: raising the price of admissions and setting a quota. Compare the effects of these two policies on consumer surplus and welfare. Use a graph to show which policy is superior according to the welfare criterion. The market equilibrium is E1 before restriction. The price increase shifts the demand curve to the left, and the new equilibrium is E3. The quota at Q star results in the new equilibrium E2. I list all the values in a table, assuming that the increase in the emission price goes to the producer. The deadweight loss to society is identical using these two policies. It's uncertain which policy is better for the consumers or the producers. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.